This might be an unpopular opinion, but one of the parts that I actually enjoy about being a developer is having to debug problems. It's always interesting because you get to be a detective in a crime movie where you might also be the murderer. Once you track down the problem, you might not understand why that line was changed, and when you look up the commit where the line was changed, the commit message is something unhelpful like test or fix bug. So you can't easily know if you can change it without risking breaking something else. In this video, we'll discuss how to improve your commit messages to help you solve problems with your code base using atomic commit. Hello developers and welcome to the PHP Architect Channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Keck-Warren, and on this channel, we discuss a wide variety of topics related to the PHP ecosystem. Make sure you subscribe to get our latest videos when they're published. Atomic commits are a process where you create commits that contain a single self-contained change to your code base that does one and only one thing. The commit message will also contain a clear and descriptive message, so everyone knows exactly what was changed and why, even if you're the one asking why. The atomic part comes from the concept of atomacy in databases and transactions, where a unit of work is indivisible and cannot be broken down any further than it already is. To boil atomic commits down to a checklist, an atomic commit contains only one logical change, includes a clear descriptive commit message, and is small and focused. Small is a term that needs to be discussed a little more because it's such a relative term. In this constant, small might be one line of change or it might be 100,000, but the goal is to be closer to the former than the latter. The goal is not to include extra changes, not just changes in general. So the biggest benefit to atomic commits is they make tracking down the source of a change and reverting the change much, much simpler. It's so simple we can use get revert to immediately revert the change in less than a second sometimes. If the commit contains multiple changes, we wouldn't know which ones were related and we couldn't easily revert the change. Atomic commits also make reviewing code much easier because instead of sifting through a massive commit with multiple changes, your teammates can quickly review small changes that clearly explain what is changing and why. Another benefit of atomic commits is that it makes the logs of your commits much cleaner and much more meaningful, which will help you figure out when something is broken or is changed. When the commit message is focused and descriptive, everyone who reads the history later will be able to make sense of what was changed. We'll have more about atomic commits after this word from our sponsors. Let me tell you a quick story about our partner, honeybadger.io. One time a customer had their background job run overnight that caused hundreds of thousands of errors to be reported to Honeybadger by mistake. Like many other error tracking and performance monitoring tools, Honeybadger bills for monthly usage, and so this customer's mistake was costing them a lot of extra money that month. If you've ever used a monitoring service, you might have experienced something like this, but fortunately for this customer, they emailed Honeybadger support and received the most amazing reply. Honeybadger was resetting their monthly quota and canceling the bill. This is just one example of how much the small team at Honeybadger cares about their users. Ask anyone you know, and they'll hear similar stories. Go check them out at honeybadger.io. It's free to get started, and setup takes less than 5 minutes. Don't forget to bookmark it. That's honeybadger.io. So I know you're always looking to get into a flow state, and atomic commits seem like they're antithetical to that concept, but there's a way we can do both until it starts to feel like second nature and becomes part of your flow. Start by not worrying about the process. Just write code. And then when you get to the end, you can start to worry about how to break up your work. Now, you'll want to do it logically based on that 3-item checklist we gave you before, but ultimately there's no real rules to it. If you can add whole files, that's great because you can just easily stage them using get add. However, it's more likely that you'll find a single logical change might contain bits and pieces of several different files. To handle this, we can use get add with the -p command line switch, which will launch an interactive mode to select different hunks of our changes and allow us to add them to commit. Then we can create our commit. And when creating commit messages, it's a good idea to use something like conventional commits, which provides an easy set of rules for creating a commit history, which can then easily be used to see what was changed and why. In conventional commits, commit messages are formatted using the following structure. Now, there's a huge benefit to always including a body, so you can look back at the commit and understand more about the intent of the change. For example, the following commit message is helpful. But by adding a body, you can make it easier to understand the intent of the change. Now, you may have noticed that the commits are limiting themselves to a fixed width. This is because some tools will cut off your message in about 80 characters, so it's always best to try and stay below 70 if at all possible. Eventually, you'll hit a point where working with atomic commits will become second nature to you, and you'll be able to quickly work through a change as a series of tiny changes without having to break it up later. Now, the other fundamental unit of change in modern programming is the pull request. And in my view, a pull request should also contain the minimal amount of changes necessary to deliver a requested functionality to your users. That means it can contain somewhere from 1 to an infinite number of atomic commits, but hopefully it's closer to 1. I try to keep my pull request to around 100 lines of change to make bugs easier to spot and to make my reviewers happy. Atomic commits generally, but not always, can act as independent pull requests, so you can ladder your atomic commits into multiple pull requests to make the review and testing process a breeze. As a brief recap, atomic commits provide a way to structure changes to make your history easier to read and modify. Conventional commits provide a way to structure your commit messages to make them easy to review, and pull requests become easier with atomic commits. As always, I hope you enjoyed our video. If so, make sure you subscribe, comment, share, and like, as it does help others find us. Are there topics that you'd like to see us cover? Let us know in the comment section below, or send me a message on any of the social media platforms found on my website at scottkeck-warren.com. We would love to hear how we can help you, and it always brightens my day when I hear from a fan. This is Scott Keck-Warren for the PHP Architect Channel signing off, and remind you to keep watching, keep coding, and keep reading.